There comes a moment in every soul's journey where the weight of tomorrow becomes heavier than the reality of today. We live in a world that constantly pushes us toward what's next. Next step, next success, next expectation. But the future is not a burden you were ever meant to carry. You were created to live now, to breathe in this moment, to embrace the lessons and the mercy wrapped inside the present. Worrying about the future steals your peace, blinds your heart, and weakens your trust. Every fear you hold is a shadow of a tomorrow that has not even arrived, and every moment you waste in anxiety is a moment you could have spent growing, healing, or connecting with the one who already knows what tomorrow holds. Your future is not chaotic. It is written with precision, wisdom, and compassion. The same force that carried you through every hardship is the same force that will take care of what lies ahead. So release the grip of fear, soften your heart, and return to the truth you are not alone, and you do not walk into the unknown without guidance. The future is not something to fear, but something to trust, because every chapter is authored with purpose, even the ones you cannot yet see. The future is not your burden to carry. Focus on the present moment. Too often we walk through life with our hearts clenched around worries that have not even taken shape yet. We imagine outcomes, we fear uncertainties, and we let our minds travel so far ahead that we lose sight of the ground beneath our feet. But the truth is, the future was never placed in your hands to control. It was never meant to sit on your shoulders as a weight or as a fear you must keep trying to outrun. The one who created time itself did not design you to carry what has not yet happened. You were given X today. You were given S this moment. And it is inside this moment that your strength, your clarity, and your peace live. So many of us live in a state of constant internal trembling, our bodies in the present, but our minds trapped somewhere in tomorrow. We keep asking, what if it goes wrong? What if I fail? What if I lose what I love? What if I never get what I'm praying for? But every one of these what ifs is a thief. They rob your heart of trust too. They rob your mind of rest. They rob your soul of the chance to witness the miracle unfolding right now. The future is shaped by your intentions, your prayers, your steps, but it is not something you can control or predict into perfection. The more you try to grip it, the more it slips through your fingers. Release yourself from the pressure of knowing everything before it happens. You don't need the map of tomorrow to walk confident to today. You only need to trust the one who sees what you can need. When you release your fear of the future, what you are really releasing is the illusion of control. Because deep within us, that is what anxiety about the future truly is. The belief that if we think enough, worry enough, or prepare enough, maybe we can prevent pain or guarantee outcomes. But no amount of worrying has ever changed destiny. No amount of fear has ever protected a heart. The future unfolds not by force, but by faith. Think of the times you feared something would break you, yet you think of the moments you thought you would never recover, yet you healed. Think of the blessings you didn't see coming, the doors that opened when everything seemed silent, the people who entered your life without planning, the opportunities that found you when you weren't looking. All of that came without worry. All of that came without your prediction. If the past has taught you anything, let it teach you that the future is already taken care of. Focusing on the present doesn't mean you stop dreaming or planning. Dreams are beautiful. Hope is necessary. But dreams are planted in the present. Growth happens in the present. Healing happens in the present. You cannot nurture your soul by living in a time that hasn't arrived. You cannot build your future if you are mentally trapped inside it. The present moment is a gift because it is the only place where life is actually happening. The only place where your heart can breathe. The only place where your choices have power. Pause and look at where you are right now. Feel your breath. Feel her breath. You have survived every difficult chapter you once thought you couldn't handle. You've been carried through storms. You've been protected in moments where you didn't even realize protection was happening. So why would the one who brought you this far abandon you in the chapters ahead? Why would the next page of your life be anything less than written with purpose? Let tomorrow come as it will. Let the unknown unfold in its time. The future is not your enemy, but neither is it your responsibility to control. Your responsibility is to show up today with sincerity, with trust, with presence. Pour into this moment. Listen to what your soul needs right now. Offer gratitude for what is already here. Let go of your tight grip on outcomes, because freedom begins where control ends. And the more you anchor yourself in the now, the more you will feel the fear dissolve from your chest. The future is not your burden to carry. Your only real task is to walk this moment with trust, with steadiness, and with an open heart. Everything else will fall into place, exactly as it is meant to. Worrying weakens trust and blinds you to the blessings already around you. When the mind becomes consumed with fears of what might happen, it stops noticing what is happening. Worry pulls your heart into a future that does not yet exist, and in doing, it shuts your eyes to the beauty, guidance, and mercy that are quietly unfolding in your present. You begin to lose sight of the gifts you already have. You overlook the strength you've gained, the mountains you've already climbed, and the subtle ways you are being cared for every single day. Worry does not protect you. It only distracts you from the truth. And the truth is that blessings are often closer than we think, but anxiety makes them invisible. When you constantly replay your fears, you train your heart to expect pain before it arrives. Your mind becomes busy imagining scenarios that may never come true, and in that noise, the soft whispers of peace are drowned out. Trust becomes harder because worry builds walls around the heart, walls so high that the light of gratitude struggles to break through. Without trust, every uncertainty feels like a threat, every delay feels like abandonment, and every challenge feels like a sign that the worst is coming. But in reality, many of the moments that once terrified you eventually turned into moments of growth, clarity, and even relief. Fear lied to you then, and it continues to lie to you now. Worry is like a fog. The more you stare into it, the thicker it becomes. You lose your sense of direction, your emotional balance, and your ability to see the blessing standing right in front of you. You could be surrounded by reasons to smile, yet one anxious thought can overshadow them all. Gratitude becomes blurred, relationships feel heavier, and life begins to look more threatening than it truly is. But the fog of worry has a weakness. It cannot survive in the presence of trust. When trust enters, the fog begins to lift. When trust grows, clarity returns. And when clarity returns, blessings reveal themselves again, quietly waiting for you to notice them. Sometimes blessings come disguised as challenges. Sometimes they arrive in the form of delays, redirections, or difficult lessons. But a worried heart misreads these signs. Instead of seeing protection, it sees punishment. Instead of seeing wisdom, it sees uncertainty. Instead of seeing divine timing, it sees unfairness. Fear distorts your vision, turning every unknown into something frightening. Trust, however, turns the same unknown into a possibility. Something that can bring growth, healing, or unexpected goodness. Trust allows you to believe that even when you can't see the full picture, there is a picture. There is a purpose. Look back at your life and notice something important. Many of the things you once feared never actually happened, and many of the things you worried about resolved themselves in ways you could never have predicted. There were blessings you only recognized in hindsight. There were moments when you thought everything was falling apart, but in truth, everything was falling into place. If fear had been the narrator of your life, It would have told you that every uncertainty was a disaster. But when you read your past with honesty, you see how much grace was quietly guiding you. That same grace surrounds you now, even if worry is blocking your vision. When you let go of unnecessary fear, your heart becomes lighter. You start to notice small blessings again. The calm moments, the supportive people, the opportunities growing slowly, the prayers being answered gradually, the inner strength you didn't know you had. You begin to feel the presence of hope again. Trust allows your heart to breathe. It shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present, from what is uncertain to what is true, from what you fear to what you already have. To weaken worry, strengthen trust. Train your heart to lean on the unseen, to believe that you are watched over in ways you cannot comprehend. When trust becomes your foundation, fear loses its power. And when fear loses its power, your eyes finally open to the blessings that were always there, waiting patiently for you to notice them. Fear is often built on illusions, not reality. So much of what frightens us doesn't come from what past is, but from what we imagine could be. The mind has a way of creating shadows out of ordinary things, stretching possibilities into threats, and magnifying uncertainties until they feel overwhelming. We start believing in stories that never happened, outcomes that may never come, and dangers that exist only in the corners of our imagination. Fear becomes a movie we play in our minds, one with dramatic scenes, painful endings, and exaggerated risks. Yet none of it is real. None of it exists outside the thoughts we keep repeating to ourselves. Fear is powerful, yes, but it is powerful only because we feed it with attention, assumptions, and what-ifs. When you look closely at your fears, you start to realize something. Most of them are built on guesswork, not truth. We fear losing people who stay. We fear failing in situations where we succeed. We fear being judged by people who never even notice us. We fear outcomes that, in reality, are extremely unlikely. And even in the rare cases when our fears do come true, they rarely look as terrifying as we imagined. The mind creates versions of events far harsher than anything life brings to us. Fear is like a distorted mirror. It shows you a version of life that is stretched, twisted, and exaggerated, convincing you that disaster is inevitable when, in truth, things might turn out beautifully. Fear often comes from the unknown, from the empty spaces your mind tries to fill with its own stories. When you don't know what's coming, your thoughts rush to supply their own predictions, but they usually choose the darkest ones. Instead of imagining growth, we imagine loss. Instead of expecting help, we expect abandonment. Instead of trusting in what has carried us this far, we assume we'll be left alone. But consider how many times life has proved your fears wrong. Think about all the difficult moments you feared you wouldn't survive, and yet you survived. Think about all the problems that seemed impossible, and yet somehow resolved. Fear tried to convince you that the worst would happen, but the worst rarely did. Reality is kinder than fear wants you to believe. Illusions grow when you let your mind wander without grounding it in truth. The truth is that you have overcome far more than you give yourself credit for. The truth is that you are stronger and more resilient than your fears suggest. The truth is that you are guided and watched over, even when you feel uncertain. Fear wants you to forget these truths because fear feeds on your disconnection from yourself, from your strength, and from your sense of spiritual grounding. When you remember that you are not walking this journey alone, fear loses its grip, because illusions cannot survive where truth is present. Ask yourself how many times your fear has told you a story that never happened. Times when you expected rejection but received kindness. Times when you feared failure but discovered success. Times when you prepared for heartbreak but instead found healing. Fear predicts the worst, but life often gives you something gentler, more meaningful. And even in the rare cases when hardship does come, It comes with lessons, with growth, with hidden blessings you only understand later. The reality of your life is not shaped by fear. It is shaped by fear. Illusions fall apart the moment you face them with awareness. When you shine the light of truth on your fears, many of them shrink. Some disappear completely. Others are revealed to be manageable, not monstrous. Fear thrives in darkness, in silence, in overthinking. But the moment you confront it with perspective, when you remind yourself of your past resilience, your present blessings, and the guidance that surrounds you, fear begins to lose its shape. It becomes less convincing, less threatening. The mind can create illusions, but the heart knows truth. When you return to trust, to clarity, to presence, you see beyond the fear. You see that life is not as terrifying as your imagination makes it. You see that challenges come with strength, that uncertainty comes with opportunity, and that every step forward is guided in ways you may not yet understand. Fear may whisper illusions, but you have the power to choose truth. And the truth is that you are stronger than your fear, safer than your thought, and more supported than you realize. Your path is written with wisdom, not randomness. Every step you take, every delay you experience, every door that opens or closes, none of it is accidental. Life may sometimes feel chaotic, unpredictable, but beneath that surface is a plan crafted with far more insight and compassion than you can comprehend. You are not wandering aimlessly through a meaningless sequence of events. You are journeying through a story that has been thoughtfully designed, a story where every chapter has a purpose, every lesson has weight, and every moment is woven with intention. When you begin to understand this, your heart softens. The heaviness of confusion begins to lift, and you realize that even when you don't understand the timing or the direction, there is wisdom guiding you toward exactly where you are meant to be. Too often we mistake delays for denial, challenges for punishment, or redirections for failure. We assume that if something doesn't go according to our plan, then something has gone wrong. But what if the delay is protection? What if the challenge is preparation? What if the closed door is saving you from something you cannot yet see? There is a wisdom at work in your life that constantly aligns you with what is best for your growth, your healing, and your future, even when it feels uncomfortable. Sometimes the lessons you resist the most are the ones your soul needs. Sometimes the paths you didn't ask for end up being the ones that change you in the most beautiful ways. When life shifts unexpectedly, instead of assuming the worst, pause and ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? What strength is being beat? What blessing is being prepared? It's often in the moments of uncertainty that the greatest inner transformations take place. You learn patience when things move slowly. You learn resilience when challenges stretch you. You learn trust when outcomes are unclear. You learn humility when you don't have control. These lessons are not random. They are individually chosen for you. They are shaping you into someone capable of handling the very blessings you are praying for. Your character is being refined, your spirit is being polished, and your heart is being made stronger and more receptive. Look back at your life think of the time something didn't work out the way you hoped. At first, it felt disappointing, maybe even heartbreaking. But later, you discovered that what you thought was a setback was actually a setup for something better. You realized that if that one thing had gone differently, you would have missed out on the people, opportunities, and experiences that shaped who you are today. That's wisdom, not coincidence. That's intention, not chance. The path you walked may not have matched your expectations, but it matched your growth. It matched your destiny. You are being guided even when the path feels unclear. You are being directed even when you feel lost. The wisdom that writes your story sees beyond your limited perspective. You see only one moment at a time, but But the author of your journey sees the full timeline, the lessons you've learned, the blessings waiting ahead, and the strength you are developing right now. What feels confusing today might make perfect sense months or years from now. What feels heavy today might be the very experience that strengthens you for something greater. Trust that the journey is not random. It is intentional. When you understand that your path is designed with wisdom, you begin to walk differently. You respond to challenges with patience instead of panic. You approach uncertainty with calm instead of fear. You start to see the meaning behind the moments, even the painful ones. You begin to trust that there is a bigger picture, one that is unfolding with perfect timing. You stop comparing your journey to others because you realize that each soul is given a unique path crafted with care, precision, and purpose. Your story does not need to look like anyone else's. It only needs to unfold exactly as it was written for you. Your path is not random. It is written with awareness of your strengths, your weaknesses, your wounds, your gifts, and your future. It is written to lead you toward becoming who you were meant to be. Even when the road feels unfamiliar or difficult, trust that every step is part of something meaningful. Trust that wisdom is guiding you. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be, learning exactly what you need to learn. And trust that the next steps will reveal themselves in perfect time, just as they always have. You are guided, supported, and never alone in facing tomorrow. Even in the moments when life feels heavy, when the path ahead seems unclear, or when you feel like you are walking through your struggles in silence, there is a presence accompanying you, steady, subtle, and unwavering. You may not always see it, you may not always feel it, but guidance has been woven into your life from the very beginning. Every breath you take, every door that opens, every challenge that eventually softens into understanding is a quiet reminder that you are not navigating this journey by yourself. There is a wisdom far greater than your own orchestrating the pieces of your life, placing people in your path, sending signs, easing burdens, and carrying what you cannot. You are held more deeply than you realize. We often assume we must face tomorrow with our own strength alone. We convince ourselves that we must figure everything out, anticipate every possibility, and protect ourselves from the unknown, but thinking you are alone is one of the greatest deceptions fear creates. It isolates you from the comfort already surrounding you. It convinces you that you must be your own savior, your own guide, your own source of certainty. Yet every moment of your life contradicts that belief. Think of the times help arrived unexpectedly, the times comfort touched your heart in the midst of pain, the times clarity appeared just when you felt lost. Someone was guiding you. Someone was supporting you, catching the pieces when you couldn't. You are supported in ways that are often invisible. Support doesn't always look like solutions appearing instantly. Sometimes it looks like strength being placed quietly inside your heart. Sometimes it looks like patience that grows within you without you noticing. Sometimes it looks like a person entering your life at the exact moment you needed them. Sometimes support takes the form of obstacles being removed before they even reach you. Burdens you will never know you were protected from. The guidance in your life is rarely loud, but it is always present, always working, always holding you through. When you feel overwhelmed about the future, remember that you are not walking into it alone. There is a hand guiding you toward what is good, even when the journey feels uncertain. There is a wisdom preparing your heart for what is coming, even when you feel anxious. There is a protection surrounding you that has been with you long before you realized it. And every tomorrow you will ever spend, you will face with this same unseen support. You are not abandoned to your circumstances. You are not left alone to figure out life in isolation. The world may make you feel alone at times, but your soul is never truly alone. Even the challenges you face are not signs of abandonment, but signs of preparation. You are strengthened through struggle, softened through compassion, elevated through patience, and expanded through trials. Growth is not a punishment, it is a form of support. It is the universe's way of shaping you into someone who can hold greater blessings, carry deeper wisdom, and live with a more open, courageous heart. Every difficulty has something placed inside it for you: strength, clarity, resilience, perspective, and you don't receive these things alone. You are guided through every transformation. Look back at your past and notice something profound. You have made it through every hardship you once feared. You survived everything that tried to break you. You healed from wounds you thought would never close. Even in the moments you felt like you had no one, you somehow found the strength to rise again. That strength did not appear out of nowhere. It was placed within you. It was support taking shape inside your soul. Tomorrow may be filled with uncertainty, but it is also filled with guidance. It is filled with protection you have not yet witnessed, with blessings that are already on their way, with moments of peace that will meet you when you least expect them. You don't need to know every detail of what is coming. You only need to remember that you will not face it alone. You are guided. You are supported, and you will never, not for a single moment, walk into tomorrow without a presence that knows you, cares for you, and leads you toward what your heart truly needs. It's a peace grows when you release control and trust the unfolding of your journey. So much of the turmoil inside you comes from trying to hold life together with your own hands. Hands that were never meant to carry the weight of every outcome, every fear, every possibility. We cling tightly to what we think should happen, how things should unfold, and when our plans should fall into place. And when life doesn't obey those expectations, we panic, we overthink, we spiral. We try even harder to control what was never ours to control in the first place. But peace is not found in gripping life more tightly. Peace is found in loosening your grip. Peace begins the moment you stop resisting the flow of your journey and start trusting that there is a wisdom guiding you through every twist, every delay, every change. Control is often rooted in fear. Fear of uncertainty, fear of loss, fear of repeating past pain, fear of not being enough. We think if we can just manage everything perfectly, nothing will go wrong. But life doesn't follow the rules we write in our minds. It unfolds with its own timing, its own wisdom, and its own purpose. And trying to control it only exhausts the heart. You become tense, anxious, and emotionally drained from holding on to outcomes that were never guaranteed. But when you release that need for control, something shifts. The heaviness lifts. The mind softens. The heart breathes. Peace enters through the door that control once kept shut. Think of the times in your life when you let go. When you finally released a situation, a fear, or a plan you'd been holding onto for too long. Suddenly clarity came. Suddenly doors opened. Suddenly peace found you. Not because life magically became easier, but because you stopped fighting the current. You allowed life to unfold without forcing it into your timing. You gave space for blessings to arrive in their natural rhythm. Trust is what allows those blessings to reach you. Control blocks them. Trust invites them. Your journey is not random. Even when you don't understand what's happening, there is meaning woven into every moment. Sometimes you are being redirected away from harm. Sometimes you are being slowed down so your heart can heal. Sometimes life is rearranging itself to bring you something better, something deeper, something more aligned with your soul. But if you insist on controlling every step, you miss the beauty of what is trying to unfold for you. You become blinded by your own fears and unable to see the gifts being prepared in the background. Releasing control doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean abandoning dreams or goals. It means doing your part with sincerity while trusting that the rest is being taken care of. It means showing up each day with intention, but not forcing life to match your script. It means believing that even when things look uncertain, they are still unfolding with purpose. Trust allows you to walk through uncertainty with grace instead of fear. Peace grows slowly, gently, like a flower opening one petal at a time. It grows when you stop holding onto your worries like they define your future. It grows when you stop replaying the past as if it determines your destiny. It grows when you stop expecting yourself to predict every outcome. Peace grows in the space where control ends and surrender begins. And surrender is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is the wisdom of understanding that you are guided by something far greater than your anxiety. It is the wisdom of knowing that your journey has always been leading you somewhere meaningful, even when the direction felt unclear. Look at how far you've come. Look at the storms you survived. Look at the moments you thought were endings, but turned into beginnings. None of that was because you controlled everything perfectly. It was because you were guided even when you didn't realize it. That same guidance is still with you now. Your only task is to trust it. When you release control, peace doesn't just appear in your life, it grows within you. It becomes the soil your heart can rest in, the calm your mind can breathe in, and the strength that carries you forward with confidence. You don't need to know every step. You just need to trust the unfolding of your journey, knowing that it is taking you exactly where you are meant to be.